Hey, what's up my dudes? Welcome back to another video. So let's get right into it. Why am I making this video? I'm making this video mainly to remind myself that my art isn't bad. But where on earth did I get the idea that my art is bad in the first place? And more importantly, how did I stop thinking that it was bad? Well, to be honest, this feeling came up not too long ago when I decided that I wanted to improve my art. And I wanted to start getting out into the world a bit more, and I've seen a ton of videos on YouTube of artists talking about how they used to travel and they usually take a sketchbook and they draw the things around them, and they also talk about how they draw from life, and you know that generally does and genuinely does make you a better artist, and it is really good to it's good practice to hone your skills in that way and stuff like that. And so I wanted to make it a point for me to get out and go to cafes or coffee shops and just start sketching people, doing these quick little, studies of things and people and stuff like that. I want to grow. And so I had an opportunity to try and do this. I went traveling with my family not too long ago. We went to Ruidoso, New Mexico, and I took a small sketchbook. We went to the casinos, the downtown area, some restaurants, and each time we stopped at a new place, I tried to take out my sketchbook, but I got nervous. And I've drawn in front of people before, at school and at friends' houses and stuff, but never truly in public, I guess you can say. And it was just such a strange feeling. I tried to get past it. And it was one of those things where I was just kind of in my head, and I took out my sketchbook 3 times during the trip. However, what I drew was really displeasing. And now, like I said before on this channel, I want to show you guys what it's like to be an artist. I want to show you guys the good, the bad, and the ugly. I don't want to be as curated as others may be on social media. And if I do some bad drawings, I'm going to show them because, yes, I have good drawings, but they were built on the foundation of millions upon millions of bad sketches. So, without further ado, these were the displeasing drawings that I made while I was on vacation. I only had a ballpoint pen, by the way, in this super tiny sketchbook, so, not the best drawing materials around, but I had something. So I wanted to draw the mountains while we were outside. I found a nice quiet place outside of the hotel, and I started sketching the landscape because I want to get a better, handle on backgrounds. But anyways, as I started sketching, there was some sort of Christmas event going on, and people started walking outside, and I started getting really self-conscious about it, and I hid my sketchbook when people walked past. And eventually I just didn't feel comfortable anymore sketching, so I put my sketchbook away and I went back with my parents, and that's why this drawing is not finished. The next day I wanted to try again, so I took out my sketchbook and I started sketching the view from outside my hotel room. And I think since I knew that people wouldn't be walking in or out through the room, I felt more confident and I got pretty far. The sketch wasn't perfect by any means, plus I couldn't erase or edit because, ballpoint pen. But then my parents started asking to see it, and I felt a wave of nervousness and anxiety arise because I knew that what I drew wasn't good, and I think that that's the one question I would like to avoid when being asked in public. But my parents asked me and I couldn't help but show it to them, and they said it looked good. But I still felt weird about it, I think some of y'all know what I'm talking about, right? That feeling, right? When they're just oh, let me see it, and then you're just no, and then they're let me see it, and then you're just oh, okay, fine. And you're just, you're just not proud of it. Anyways, this was the last drawing I did. I wanted to give it one more try and actually try in a public space. So we went to a restaurant, and while we were waiting for food, I thought it would be a good idea to draw everything on the table in front of me, like a still life. However, that weird feeling came back, and I started overthinking. I started worrying about the waiter coming over and seeing that I was drawing in this little book, and I thought that he would ask me what I'm drawing, and then I'd have to show him the abomination that I spent 12 minutes on, or whatever. And I feel like I spent forever on it and it's not even that good. Or maybe a random person would be walking by on their way to the restroom and would ask to see what I was doodling. And same thing, I just got so embarrassed to show anybody what I was doing if they asked, because I know it isn't my best work, and I felt obligated, I guess, as an artist, to show them my best work and over explain what I was doing is just scribbles, and they should see what I'm actually more capable of. It's almost like Well, it's exactly like I needed some sort of validation from these people in case they asked me what I was doing. And this is what I've been reflecting on lately. And now I realize, obviously, I don't think those people really care. And more importantly, I shouldn't care, because at the end of the day, nobody came up to me and asked me. I was just, running through scenarios in my head, but, I shouldn't have cared anyways. And this is me talking to me and you right now. I do not need validation from anybody. I know that I can draw well when I dedicate time to a piece, and just because I am an artist, and also a professional artist at that, that doesn't mean I can't bust out amazing art at any time. And I feel like people who don't do art don't understand how much time and effort goes into these pieces, that myself and others make. I feel like people may have high expectations and think that we can just whip something up in a few minutes or seconds, like even if it's just a sketch. Like, those kind of people who are like, hey, can you draw my dog? Or like, hey, can you draw like a wizard or something? And you show them a picture, and then it may not be like, they're probably not expecting like a fully rendered drawing, but they think that you can like sketch something that looks, pretty all right. Like, I feel like they set the bar pretty high. Like, oh, you could just sketch my dog and it'll be like super cool or whatever. I don't know. You know what I mean? And I just feel like that's what people think or have an expectation of, at least. And social media doesn't help that way of thinking at all, because you have people that can like, all these TikTok tutorials of like how to draw, I don't know, like how to draw X anime character in 4 seconds or something ridiculous like that, and then it looks perfect. I feel like people just have that mentality these days. But I also want to show you a few examples of how untrue that is. And again, I'm also just kind of showing myself and reminding myself, but you guys are more than welcome to, pick up on the vibes of this. And also, I want to say, just before showing these, I'm showing you these examples to show that expecting a high quality of work in a short period of time is absurd and an unrealistic expectation, no matter how good like you are as an artist or whatever your profession is. And I am in no way, absolutely no way, trying to tear down these other incredible artists. I'm not trying to roast their work. I'm not trying to do anything like that. It's just, I feel like these clips are they're really important to show, because I think it just helps me understand that you can be like with an industry job, you can be a professional artist, but it's just hard. It's impossible to draw from memory or like without reference, and like especially in like a short amount of time. I don't know, like when people are put on the spot, it just doesn't work like that. Some people are trained, of course, don't get me wrong. There's obviously like caricature artists and stuff like that, and people who train for that kind of stuff. But overall, just because you're an artist, it just doesn't, I feel like people shouldn't expect that you can whip something up in a couple seconds. Anyways, one of the first examples that came to mind was this clip of Jamie Hewlett, the artist behind Gorillaz. And I mean, look, no doubt Jamie Hewlett has incredible work, and it speaks for itself. He's a very experienced illustrator, but I found this interview where he had to do drawings in a couple of seconds, and this is how it went.
I mean, I like to spend at least an hour on a sketch usually. That's a terrible pen. I used to like drawing Chewbacca. I don't do anymore. Chewbacca.
As you can see, even in the first couple of seconds of the video, Jamie tells the interviewers, oh, I usually take about an hour on a sketch. But then he proceeds to draw Chewbacca from memory without reference, I'm assuming. And I mean, let's be honest, that's probably not the best drawing of Chewbacca that we've all ever seen. Again, super, not trying to tear him down or anything, but this man is a professional artist. He's drawn for so many years of his life professionally, and his work is world-renowned. I mean, honestly, everybody knows about Gorillaz for the most part, or at least seen their pictures. But even though he's a professional artist, especially under unrealistic circumstances, he's unable to, draw Chewbacca accurately, I guess. I mean, don't get me wrong, he does capture the likeness, but you get what I'm saying. You catch my drift. Let's take a look at another example that I found. Lately, I've been watching this artist on Twitch. His name is K-Sem, and he is a very educated individual, and he does a ton of work in the animation industry. He's worked at studios that have made Avatar: The Last Airbender, The Legend of Vox Machina, Castlevania, and a whole bunch of other stuff that is very popular right now. But recently, I saw on one of his streams that a viewer redeemed a 30-second drawing, and they requested that he do Gengar from memory. And here's that clip. This is how that went.
How to draw Gengar in 1 minute or less from memory, and it should look something like this. These, and I think he's got sharp teeth. Oh no. And then I think he's got hands. I think that's right. But no, look, watch this. 3, 2, 1. Tell me that's not what we drew. Yo, look at that. And then look at what I drew.
And so I guess in my mind, right, I feel like people who don't know a lot about art would see this and go, wait a minute, he drew all of these cool fancy characters on the left, but he's not able to draw a Pokemon or at least sketch it? Even if he's seen it? He can't pull that off in 30 seconds? What? You know? Another example, J.animations and The Odd Ones Out. Both incredible animation YouTubers and artists. But again, check out this clip where they're kind of put on the spot drawing from memory with no reference.
I feel like I'm in school again.
Why is this so hard? He was like in every episode. Does he have a nose? I can't remember if he has a nose or not.
Lord Helix, I'm sorry.
Oh crap. Oh, that's on the same layer. Oh no. Maybe since he's like a villain, he should be like, you know?
See, I mean, if they're doing this in front of a bunch of virtual people, right, without reference, with like a huge time crunch, why should I expect that of myself when I go to a cafe and I'm doodling for 30, maybe let's say I've been doodling for like 5 minutes. Why am I so afraid of someone coming up to me when it's like, you know, I can't have something ready in that amount of time? You know what I mean? Let me show you another example. One of my other favorite artists that I've been watching on Twitch is Sims Art. He's known for his beautiful illustrations and unique watercolor style. And I actually went around looking to see more of his process, and I came across this video of him doing an educational lesson for Clip Studio Paint. And I saw this.
And I'm going a little bit fast, but don't worry, I have already a more clean version eventually that I will show you. So in order to not, you got where this is going, okay? Is to jump to the final version of this design. So you already see the line art that I spent a little bit more time. Since we have only 1 hour, I'm not gonna show you only the line art. So, and we have the line art. So this is the same line art that you saw so far.
Again, he was put on the spot. He was kind of rushing through the drawing really quickly. Things were a little off, which again kind of proves that, you know, art takes time. Here's another example. I'm almost done with my examples. I just really need to, you know, solidify this in my brain. This is Dana Terrace and Rebecca Sugar. Dana is the creator and showrunner of The Owl House, and Rebecca Sugar is the creator and showrunner of Steven Universe. Both incredible shows, super well thought out shows, and the art direction is super stellar, and they actually came up with it themselves. Well, in the beginning, of course, they have a team that... Anyways, look at how they draw on the spot, on the fly.
I don't think I could draw Scrooge or Pearl from memory.
You should see my first Scrooge drawing.
So I'm going to try.
I never really learned how to draw Scrooge very well.
Yeah, you did. She's just being modest now.
No, he's the hardest thing in the world to draw.
Wait, what do you mean? You said you couldn't draw.
Yeah, see,
This is
very,
very
Dana's
good.
standard of art
it's
is
not
way too high.
Good. It's not the most.
I should just-
Now, you know, again, I'm not trying to tear them down. And actually, their drawings are actually pretty decent. They're actually really good, but they're not like the best. Or from what I like, if I guess if you took this and you didn't know who draw it, would you assume that a professional artist in the industry who's worked many years in the industry at that, would you assume that someone drew that? No, of course not. At least I don't think so, you know? And so again, if I have like a couple scribbles in my sketchbook, yeah. Why should I expect someone who, you know, comes up to me? And you know what? Maybe I'm being a little too harsh. Maybe random people won't even come up to me or be that mean. I feel like people would be supportive. And I feel like that's probably just a me thing. I'm kind of making a big deal out of nothing. I tend to do that sometimes, unfortunately. you know, I'm kind of, whether or not people do that, I think I still am being way too hard on myself and way too critical on my art. When, you know, again, I'm going to solidify this point again. If professionals can't do it, if they struggle with no reference and a time crunch, and it's on the fly, why should I have any expectation of me doing that? And this is not to tear myself down either, but it's just because it's unrealistic. Like, of course I can't. Of course I can't do that. Maybe someday I will. But, you know, I have to be real with myself. That's not this day or anytime soon. And I just need to focus on, I mean, honestly, I need to focus on myself and my art. I shouldn't be worrying about what other people think about it, because I know that it's, you know, doing little studies in cafes and coffee shops and stuff like that. That's going to help me grow. And it might not look pretty when I'm doing all those practices and sketches and still lifes and stuff. It may not look pretty, but it will pay off. It will pay off in the end, and it will make my art better. And I think that's what I need to keep reminding myself of and focus on. And hopefully you do too. If you're struggling with the same problem that I am, if you're a little nervous to go sketch out in public and you're worried about what people think, just remember, don't. Yeah, just don't care what people think. I mean, come on. So many people have told me this lesson, and I think it's barely just starting to click right now. And thank God for that. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I had to say. So I just want to thank you again for sticking around. Appreciate you being here, as always. And yeah, I hope y'all have a good one. Thanks again. I'll see you guys later. Y'all have a good one, homies.